As a watch collector, I'm constantly evolving, and my taste tends to change from time to time. For some time now, I've really been wanting to add a skin diver watch into the collection. The problem is that the only one that I have my eyes on is the Oris Diver 65, and it costs over $1,000. I'm in no position to spend that amount of money on a luxury item at the moment. Therefore, I followed my own advice and started looking into the vintage world. The minute I laid eyes on the Chateau Sportsmen Worldwide watch, I fell head over heels for it. I've never really heard of the brand, to be honest with you, and even after some Google searches, I got very little information on it aside from what the seller had listed and told me. However, the price point made it very attainable. The patina on the tritium lume featured on the indices, numbers, and hands were super charming. The red bidirectional rotating bezel with the different cities printed on them was something I've never seen before on a watch of this price point. Not to mention that awesome broad arrow hour that really reminds me of the Omega 300, and the cool all red numbered date wheel, acrylic crystal featuring a magnifier for the date, and the tachymeter printed on the inside of the dial. I just knew I had to have it, and I wasn't gonna settle or go to sleep until I bought it. The watch obviously doesn't have much pedigree, and it does feature a Rhonda manual wind movement with only one jewel. The watch measures in at 36 millimeters, 40 millimeters lug tip to lug tip, and has 19 millimeter lugs, and I think it looks pretty good on my 6 and 7/8 inch wrist. It looks classy yet sporty, and it's super comfortable to wear. Although I would imagine that the red bezel would add some limitations as far as attires go, but who cares? The watch is beautiful in my opinion. Sure, the water resistance of 50 meters is probably long gone, and 50 meters to begin with for a diver watch is not enough. I would never wear any of my vintage pieces swimming or take them anywhere near water. As everyone knows, that's a big no-no. There's something about vintage pieces that really speak to me and intrigue me the more research I do on them. There's a romanticism and certain aspect about vintage watches that modern watches just lack. Maybe the lack of personal history, maybe a soul if you will. Of course, every new watch you purchase today will eventually have a story to tell in the future, but to be able to own something right now that's been on this earth for 40, 50, 60 plus years, it's very cool in my opinion. I know all too well that a modern watch is more reliable as a daily wear. Take for instance my Seiko SKX007. I recently made a video telling everybody about how this is the best EDC watch, and I stand true by this statement. It's an amazing watch and overall one of my favorite watches of all time. However, when you put it side by side with this manual wind vintage piece, you can tell how different the two pieces are, from the sizing to the styling. But the vintage piece really stands on its own 2 feet. And to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting much in the lume department. I was completely blown away with the amount of lume still left on this piece. Even after all these years, the watch doesn't appear to have been relumed, so I'm very, very much blown away. Everyone knows that Seiko dive watches have some of the best lume in the business. To see this vintage piece stand toe to toe was unbelievable. At the end of the day, watches serve one main purpose: they tell time. The more I reflect on that, I came to the realization that watches for me personally don't just tell time. They're an extension of me. They reflect my personality, style, and remind me that having a passion for something, in this case watches, has made me a more passionate human being, and that passion has transcended in different aspects of my life. If there's one takeaway from this video, is to not let anyone dictate what you buy. It's your choice and your money. Spend it on whatever speaks to you. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. And as always, my friends, stay humble.